Defend yourself against DDoS attacks by hiding your true IP address with ExpressVPN, and visit my custom link expressvpn.com/ghilliemaster in the description to find out how you can get an extra 3 months free. The big controversy surrounding the upcoming Criminal Enterprises update is the Cayo Perico Heist Nerf. There's been a lot of discussion over the past few days in the community of differing opinions, with some thinking that it's good for the game and others disagreeing and saying that it's only a way for Rockstar to hinder our money-making abilities and to promote shark cards. I'm going to go over both sides of the argument and discuss my own take on the situation in this video and just have a little chat about how it's going to impact the game overall. First, let's go ahead and recap the changes that they are making to Cayo Perico. If you complete the heist solo, there's going to be a 3 in-game day cooldown before you can do it again, which in real time translates to about 2.5 hours. In addition, if you get a higher value primary target, the higher value targets will appear less often for the next 72 hours, while the value of secondary targets will increase during this time. So let's say you get a pink diamond and steal that. The next time you do the heist, you'll have less of a chance of getting a pink diamond, but the secondary targets will be worth more. Now, there's still a lot of unknowns with this though. For example, what constitutes a high value target? Is it only the pink diamond, or is it the 3 most valuable targets, for instance? And how much of an increase do the secondary targets get while this is active? You probably won't know the answer to those questions until the update actually launches. But these changes have made quite a few people upset, with players saying that this is just a straight nerf to solo players to influence shark card sales. And I think that's just a narrow-minded thought process, to be honest, because, obviously they want to incentivize shark card sales. They do that with every single update release. If they didn't want to incentivize shark card sales, then they'd make everything in the DLC cost like $100,000. The reality is, it's just a tough balancing act that they have to follow here, and no matter what happens, players are going to complain either way. As a preamble, any type of nerf to Cayo Perico, whether it's the cooldown or just the payout in general, people would complain about. I've heard people say that instead of just nerfing Cayo Perico, they should just buff up every other business and money-making aspect of the game to match Cayo Perico. And if they did that, then that would substantially increase player earnings because they would have a business that is producing massive amounts of money equal to Cayo Perico, while they grind a heist that produces massive amounts of money every single hour, which would in turn cause Rockstar to then have to increase in-game prices of everything to offset that increase in player earnings to meet their financial goals. We can pretend all we want that it's not about the money, but at the end of the day, it is about the money because they need to make money off of each DLC they produce. And players would then complain about increased prices in-game, so no matter what Rockstar does, they're going to have a group that's upset with them in one way or another. And that's not me dick-riding Rockstar or anything, that's just the facts. Some other facts: Cayo Perico is not only the fastest way to make money in-game, but it's also the easiest way to make money, with the entirety of the heist being able to be completed in an hour's time completely solo. And looking at the primary targets table here, let's pretend you only got Sinsemito Tequila for the rest of your life. Every time you did Cayo Perico, you got the worst possible primary target. And on top of that, you got the worst possible secondary target to fill your bag with cash. You're looking at a final take of about $1,330,000. And if you get the Elite Challenge on hard mode, you're looking at a final take-home pay of around $1.3 to $1.4 million after the cuts are all taken out. And that is with the worst possible approach. That worst case scenario still beats every other legitimate way of making money in terms of money per hour. Cayo Perico is objectively OP. That's why they're nerfing it. It's changed the mindset of so many players too. Every time a new DLC comes out, the thought process is it better than Cayo Perico? Oh, it's not? Well, this sucks. And then they just continue to go grind Cayo Perico for the 3rd year in a row. I've even seen it in my own streams. Oh, why are you doing this when you could be doing Cayo Perico for the most amount of money? It's not good for one piece of content, one heist mission, to be the best possible way to make money, so much so that it's the only thing people are doing and that it's the comparison point for every DLC that releases. As a developer, you don't want to create new content only for the majority to go back and play the same exact mission from years ago with the exact same setup till they get so burnt out that they don't want to play the game at all anymore. And while it's true there will always be a best way to make money, that's not an excuse to not change something that is objectively the best. This is how every single online multiplayer game works. One thing becomes OP, it gets nerfed, then the next thing becomes OP, and the cycle continues. Call of Duty, this is the case with weapon balancing. When Destiny 1 first came out many years ago when I used to play it, there was this thing called the loot cave. It was essentially an OP farming spot for loot because you just sit there, kill enemies that spawn in, and rack up an insane amount of loot drops in the quickest way possible, ignoring all other aspects and missions in the game. Think of the Cayo Perico heist as that loot cave. It's a quick way to farm money without touching any other of the content. And the nerf that we're getting really isn't that big of a nerf. I feel like there's a lot of overreaction from this. because they're also buffing secondary targets to incentivize group play on the heist, which was my biggest complaint with the heist all along, that it discourages group play rather than encourages it. You were always much better having each of your friends complete the heist solo than to do it together. Well, now completing the heist as a group won't trigger that long cooldown, and on top of that, you'll have the increased value secondary targets, which is a very good thing. I also don't consider the higher value primary targets appearing less often for 72 hours much of a nerf either, because like we discussed earlier, even if you got the worst primary target every single time, the heist still pays out extremely well. It's still one of the best money makers. And the chances of getting back-to-back pink diamond is so slim regardless that most of us probably won't even notice this change, because I rarely get pink diamond when I do Cayo Heist, let alone 2 times in a row in its current form. Really, the only players who are affected by this are the ones who exclusively grind Cayo Perico by themselves in an invite-only session over and over again. Which I get sucks for solo players, but at the end of the day, GTA Online is a multiplayer game. You don't want a multiplayer game where the best way to make money is to just avoid all forms of player interaction in a session by yourself, spamming one heist. That's not the goal of a multiplayer game. And just think of all the other things they're doing in this update, adding on to the other businesses and letting you use them in your own private sessions. You're still gonna definitely be able to make money when you're solo, just not spamming the same Cayo Perico heist over and over. My view on the nerf is that it's overall very good. The only thing that I might disagree a little bit about is the length of the cooldown, because 2.5 hours is truly a very long time, and that's probably longer than most people play in one gaming session, let alone in a single day. I don't even think I play that much GTA every single day, and I'm a YouTuber. Maybe 2 in-game days would suffice. I'm sure the cooldown is handled via tunables though, and they can easily change it with a background update should they desire to. One other change that I think would go great with the new high-value primary target system though is to bring back the Panther statue permanently. If there really is going to be 72 hours where our chances of getting high-value primary targets are much lower after getting a high-value primary target, I think it would be fun if the Panther statue was on the loot table with a small chance to get it while the lower chances aren't active. I just feel it's weird to have the pink diamond be like the only higher-value primary target after all this. Some people might see the Cayo Perico changes as Rockstar forcing us to play other content, and to put it bluntly, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Imagine if they didn't change Cayo Perico at all for this DLC. You know, they release all these new additions to the older businesses, and everyone is just back playing Cayo Perico yet again, ignoring all the new changes. And then proceeding to complain that the game is super boring when all they do is one heist over and over again. And I'm sure players will find a way to skip the cooldown, making all of this a big nothing burger anyways. If not though, we will adapt as players and we'll find other ways to make money fast, you can guarantee that. To all of the solo players who are upset about this change though, I just want to say this. Although I can't force you to do anything, I do highly encourage you to try to find a community of like-minded players where you can help each other out with money-making endeavors and just hang out together with. GTA Online is a fun game, but it's even more fun when you have friends to play it with. And there are many communities out there that you can become a part of, even aside from my own, because we don't do money grinding that often as some others do. Although it might not seem like it, there are people that play this game that aren't complete griefing assholes. But that is my take on the whole situation. We'll have to see exactly how the changes play out, of course. I'll definitely be making lots of videos on everything once I get a handle on the information. What do you guys think about the Cayo Perico nerf? Are you upset that it's getting nerfed, or do you not really care that much? Drop a comment down below. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, feel free to leave a like, as well as subscribe to my channel for more GTA Online content. I want to give a huge shout out to all my channel members for your support. If you'd like to become a member for some exclusive perks, you can either use the join button or the link that's down in the description. And as always, thanks for watching, and have a great day.